Hey crafty people, it's Tasha here for Trinity Stamps, and today I'm going to be making this repeat stamping custom pattern paper style background. I'm going to give you some tips on the best ways to create this kind of a background and also show you where my inspiration came from. So I've got out some of the stamps from the Summer Blooms card kit set. There's this really big flower and then one of the sort of foliage type stamps and a smaller solid flower, and I've got the 3 coloured ink cubes that come with the kit, and these are the Ink on 3 Atelier ink cubes, and they are actually not sold anywhere else in the small cube size. They're exclusive to the kit at the moment. So when I saw these kind of like big floral elements and the colours of the ink, it just made me think of like 60s fashion fabric patterns and things, crazy bright. Yeah, made me think that, I mean, I'm a late 80s baby, so you know I wasn't there, but these photos I came across and they inspired me to make this card. So yeah, I wanted to talk about inspiration and how it can come from anywhere. So you just have to be open to it. So this large flower, I've got it on an acrylic block, and I'm just stamping out the flower. I like to start with the largest image, and you want to start sort of from the inside and work out, or from one side right the way across, because if you just start on the outside and you're working into the middle, you're going to hem yourself in and you might not have an image that will actually fit the space that you've got left in the middle. So you want to fill up the bulk of the space, use your largest images first, and then you can use the smaller images that you've got as sort of fillers, because you know, like that foliage and the smaller flower are going to be much easier for me to slot into small spaces than that giant flower is. I'm not sure really what flower it's supposed to be, but a little story. To me, I keep calling them in my head daft daisies, because that's just a thing that my family do. Gerberas we've always called daft daisies, and yeah, that was the name that I sort of thought matched them best in my head. So I like to add the images sort of in threes, because then that's easier, and it just odd numbers are just more visually pleasing. So that's what I like to sort of aim at. You might notice I've got both the foliage image and the small flower on the same acrylic block, but I've got them one on one side and the other on the other end, but also one's on the front of the block and one's on the back, so I can keep adding them without risking stamping the wrong one. Then I've just shown you that there's some spaces left in the pattern, so I grabbed out the large greetings stamp set that was in the last release, because there is a little dot in that can be used as like a full stop or the bottom of an exclamation mark, and that is just perfect to fill in all of these little spaces. So when you were doing something like this, look through all of your sets, you'll find these little images that are going to be perfect for filler space. And another trick that I like to do is, when I've got just something like this, just a small dot, rather than putting it on a giant acrylic block, I just literally put it on the end of my finger. So it just makes it so much easier to aim it, and quicker. It's just all round easier and quicker. So that's another tip that you may wish to consider. So I'm really liking how this is all coming together. It's very vibrant. These inks are insane. They are so vibrant, and I've been testing them out with loads of different techniques, which you'll see some more coming up in the coming week in a bit. And yeah, they're really good, really good. So I've stamped out the Your Amazing sentiment, which is from that same large sentiments stamp set. So I've stamped it out in a black pigment ink, but I want to emboss it because I want to make it sort of bolder and shinier. So even though pigment ink does stay wetter for longer, I wasn't sure that it would stay wet long enough for me to get powder on this entire sentiment because they're really big, hence they're big and bold. So I stamped it with the black pigment ink, and then I went in again and stamped it over the top with my ultra slow drying embossing ink. So it's just a sticky ink that allows you to add powder, and it clings onto the powder so that you've got time to set it. So I re-stamped it in the same place with that, and then added some clear glossy embossing, and you can just see me heating up the embossing there. When you are doing embossing, you need to make sure that you are getting your heat gun nice and warm before you start, in order to avoid too much warping of the cardstock. If you are watching this on my channel, I do have a lot of embossing videos, and I will have a link to those at the end. So even though I've done everything as I should, there was a little bit of warping, so I grabbed the other bar magnet out of my mini Misty, just so that I could hold that paper in place a little bit better, because I'm going to stamp onto it again with the embossing ink and add another layer of embossing. And I love doing this because it makes it look like almost like an acrylic embellishment, or it's just, yeah, I really love to add on, and you can add on like as many layers as you want, really. Keep going, keep trying, see what works. But I kept it at just the 2. But look at that, it's so bold and bright and no, bold and dark and shiny. So I cut this black pale cardstock with the largest die from the Slimline Modern Embossed Circle Window die set. And I'm just showing you, I've just sliced the middle out of that because I'm just going to use this as a layer to mat my pattern on. So I don't want to waste all of that nice black pearly paper. So I cut the black with the largest die, and I cut my pattern paper with the next size. And then I've added some foam tape to the back of my sentiment that I've trimmed down. And I'm just going to stick that straight on. I love the black, the boldness and the dark black against that bright, vibrant pattern. And having the black mat around it, I think just brings it all together a little bit more. So I'm just making a card base. I've got a sheet of paper, 110 Nina cardstock. I've cut it to be 8.5 by 7, and then scored that halfway to give me an 8.5 by 3.5 size card base. So I need some glue to the back of the matted panel, but I want to make sure that it's not going to sag in the middle there. So I've just grabbed a scrap of just cheap cardstock, and I'm just going to use that to reinforce that centre a little bit, just where I've taken that extra bit out, because this is a lot cheaper than the nice specialty cardstock. So adding lots of glue, I want it to make sure it's really well stuck down, and then I'm going to glue it straight to the base. This panel is the same size as the card base, so I don't need to worry about getting any margins right or anything like that. And I am loving how this looks. So I grabbed out the gems that come with the the kit. These are the Summer Sparkles, I want to say. Gem Mix. Yeah, they're exclusive to the kit as well. There are so many exclusives in this kit. It's amazing. I love it. So I'm adding some of the pink and green gems that come in that. They're like a translucent but iridescent-y just mix of all different colours, and they're gorgeous. So that's my finished card. I love it. I hope that gives you some ideas of how you can use some of the images from your stamp sets to create your own custom patterned paper. And also I hope that it makes you think about looking for inspiration everywhere, or just being open to the possibility of inspiration anywhere. That's my finished card. I'm really happy. Yeah, if you like the video, then please do give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you aren't already. There are 2 more videos on your screen here that I think that you might be interested in. I hope that you have a lovely, happy, safe and wonderful week. Stay crafty. Bye!